Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about time. And our essential question is, how do I figure out what time it is when a given amount of time has passed? So let's take a look at just telling time in general to get a little review here. We can see on these different clocks, we started at the 1 o'clock hour with the hour hand pointing to the 1 and the minute hand pointing to the 12. Notice that as time is passing, we're now at a quarter after, the hour hand has gone about a quarter past the distance in between the 1 and the 2. So it's a quarter after the hour, and we've gone through a quarter of the way. You can see that if you were to continue that line there, it's just right about a fourth of that way along. Take a look at our next one. Time has passed again to now 1:30. The minute hand is now halfway around the clock, and the hour hand is now halfway between the 1 and the 2. If we continue time, we're now at a quarter to 2, so we've gone 45 minutes into it, or 3/4 of the way around the clock, and now our hour hand is 3/4 of the way between the 1 and the 2. When the hour has completely passed, the minute hand has gone all the way around, and now our hour hand is on the 2. So paying attention to where that hour hand is, based on how far our minute hand went, will help us when we're telling time or when we have to record our own time. Some of us are having a little bit of a hard time remembering which hand is which. So let's take a look at something to help us with that. So here I have a clock that does not have any hands on it at all right now. So I need to put on the hour hand and the minute hand, but I need to figure out which one is which. Here's how I like to remember it. For the hour hand, to go from 1 hour to the next, you only have to go a little tiny space. So our hour hand is only going to be the small hand. It's not going to be very big because it only has to go that little distance to the next hour. Our minute hand, on the other hand, to make the full hour, has to go all the way around the clock. It has to go a long way. So our minute hand is going to be our long hand. It's going to be the longer one. So the hour hand is shorter, and it only has to go the little distance. The minute hand is the long one, and it has to go a long distance to do the hour. So if you can remember that, it'll help you remember which is which. Also, when you're drawing your time, make sure that you can tell the difference between your two hands. Make sure the hour hand is small and the minute hand is very long and up in where the minutes are, so your audience or whoever is reading your clock can tell exactly what time it is. So let's go ahead and go back to our other page now. We're going to practice doing a couple of these. So we're going to start with this first clock, and we need it to read 3:15. So we need to know that our hour hand is going to have to be at least at the 3, but probably a little bit farther. When I look at the 15, I can see, let's see, 5, 10, 15. It's going to go all the way over to this 3 here, because we know each of these numbers is 5-minute increments. And then my 3 has to go a quarter of the way between the 3 and the 4 for my 3 o'clock. So my hour hand is going to go there. So let's take a look at that again. I know it's 3 o'clock, so it's going to be past this 3, in between the 3 and the 4. My minutes is 15, 5, 10, 15. I see that that is a quarter of my clock, so my hour hand is going to be a quarter past the 3. And now let's imagine that this arrow means time is passing, and we now need to write what a half hour later is. So let's see. I started at 3:15, and I need to go a half hour. So I have to think to myself, how many minutes is a half hour? And I know that a half hour is 30 minutes. So I am going to start here at the 15, and I'm going to count around 30 minutes. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So my minute hand is going to end up at my 9. Okay, I haven't gone to the next hour yet, so I'm still in the 3 o'clock hour, but now I'm 1, 2, 3/4 of the way around. So my hour hand needs to be 3/4 of the way to the 4. Notice that my minute hand is very long and my hour hand is shorter, so I can tell the difference. So So I can see that half an hour after 3:15 is 3:45. Okay, let's look at another one. We're going to start at 7:30 on this one. And we need to do our second clock 40 minutes later. Okay, go ahead and pause the video for just a minute. Record 7:30 on the clock and then record what time it will be 40 minutes later. Okay, let's see how you did. So for 7:30, I know I'm going to have to be at the 7 or in between the 7 and the 8 somewhere. 30 is my minute hand, so let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So my minute hand goes all the way down here. And seeing that my minute hand is halfway around, that tells me I need to go halfway between my 7 and my 8 for my hour hand. How'd you do? Okay, then we had to go 40 minutes later. So we're going to start here and we're going to count to 40 minutes to see where we end up. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Ooh, I crossed that hour again. That's going to make a difference. So my minute hand's going to go over to the 2 because I made it all the way over there. I crossed that hour. So I was in the 7 o'clock hour the first time. Now I'm moving into the 8 o'clock hour. And I notice that my minute hand is almost a quarter of the way over. So I'm going to be almost a quarter way past that 8. So you should have ended up at 8:10 for 40 minutes later. Okay, let's practice this some more. On the back of your sheet, you have some blank clocks. And we're going to go ahead and fill in the times, and then you can fill in the hands. So for this first clock, you're going to start at 12:20. And then you're going to make the time pass to 15 minutes later. For your second clock, you're going to be at 4:50, and you're going to move to 1/2 hour later. So just a half hour later. And then for your third set, start at 6:35, and you're going to move 20 minutes later. All right, have fun with that. Don't forget to write your 2 questions and your summary. Have a good night.